We are live.
All right, you got to start us off here, E.
All right, so welcome to Three Beats Later Lounge. What is Three Beats Later Lounge, you ask? I'm glad you asked because we don't know. We actually just came on here tonight because we had an unfortunate situation that did not allow us to do our regular challenge. We said, but let's not disappoint the people, all of the hundreds and thousands of people who watch our show every week and still go live and still actually just kick it about some music stuff and maybe share some tips, maybe have some questions. Who knows? But this is the Three Beats Later Lounge, episode one, the first time ever. So there's P. He's walking New York City, looking like Sting. He's an alien
Word.
in New
What's up,
York.
world? Peace, world. Peace.
There's there's contact at cheekycp.com up there.
What up? What up? All right, I just tweeted that out, so we're live.
Is we is or is we ain't?
What's new, everybody? E, what's new in your world? What did you work on this week?
I worked on a lot, actually. I have some projects that I'm working on for a couple different artists that I'm trying to pitch.
Okay.
So just some stuff, just working and building. I'm trying to master the 30-minute beat.
You are the master. What do you mean? Try to.
Yeah, I want to master it more. Like, I feel like I have an edge on myself, so I want to balance out that edge. I can't let him beat me. So, but yeah, so that's really what I've been working on, man. Just making sure the beats are dope, and I get this content to people. I have a lot of projects musically that are in the pipeline right now, and it's interesting because I really wasn't foreseeing any of this, but you go with the flow.
Yeah. So I got some questions for you. When did the 30-minute beat? When was that created?
That actually was created just on one of our random Zoom producer night sessions. And so,
well, how long have you been doing that?
So for those who don't know, we do like a random session where we have it's like a jam session, so to speak, and we get in, we just do like a random challenge, and you have 30 minutes to make your beat. From the time the beat is assigned, the challenge is assigned, you have 30 minutes. So you find your sample or you find your sounds, you create your beat, and it's all just on the fly, and create as much of the track as you can. Obviously sometimes people only have the drum pattern and the sample or the skeleton of the beat, but the goal is to increase productivity while also having a challenging objective and a dope sound.
Was that
so to answer your question,
just due to the pandemic though, or was it just
so I just recently got back into music. I haven't been doing music for a while.
Right.
And during it, like actually pre-pandemic, like right before the pandemic, P was like, yo, you should try Ableton. I'm like, I'm not doing music right now. He's like, nah, get Ableton. Like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Ableton, and for the first week I called P all the swear words in the book, and I wasn't really sure why he would torture me like that. And then Ableton clicked to me, and then I found myself like being haunted by Ableton tutorials in my sleep. Like I couldn't even sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I'd wake up in hot sweats and had to go and look up how to do this and how to do that. So once I actually got my, wrap my head around how to create in Ableton.
Learning curve. You got over the learning curve.
Yeah. So once I hit that point, it was like, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. Oh, this is one of the most amazing sampling platforms I've ever used, with the options and the functionality that it has. So for me, it was just like, oh, wow, okay, now I push myself to another limit. So when we were doing our, we would get on late at night, and it originally just started because I didn't want to be on all night, got to work in the morning.
Right.
And so I would say, yo, let's see if we can make a beat in the next 30 minutes. Let's set a timer for 30 minutes and then present what we have.
Mm-hmm.
But we started doing that so frequently, we would end up doing like 2 or 3 beats, within the parameters. So we were like, yeah, okay, this beat is a half hour, next beat is a half hour. So instead of getting on and just chilling, we had an objective each time. So and it turned into a thing. Like, so now as soon as we get on, it's like, okay, what's the challenge? We got 30 minutes and we just go at it. So that was just something that just came about just to, refresh my skills and get me back to where I want to be.
What was your workstation of choice before Ableton though? Like what were you using back when you were doing more music, I guess you could say?
I was actually using Reason, propeller head Reason.
Yes.
So I was using Reason for a long time, like probably since like 2004, and I stopped in like 2012.
That's what we used to use back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, flip the back end open and connect the cables.
Oh, really? Yeah. I never even understood how to do any of that stuff. Like I'm not.
It was like they were trying to emulate like an actual analog, old school studio. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, but it was like I think it was a little.
It was cool, but it was cumbersome. Like work.
Yeah, it was definitely cumbersome. It was.
Yeah.
It was like there was no need for that visual, representation of like it wasn't like you were gonna like end up just like it wasn't like a simulator for going into a studio,
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that it was more so for show. I think at the time they had to do something to make their platform seem fun. Everyone was using
exactly
excuse me, Fruity Loops, and Fruity Loops was just this fun, playful looking, inviting platform. And then you have this serious Windows looking platform that's just like, huh?
Yeah.
So I think they did it to just, probably a bunch of nerds that just love to make cool things happen, made that, and were like, oh, wow, you could really drag the chords from here to there.
Right. Yeah.
And people who were used to old school, connecting
analog systems.
Analog system with the rack.
Yeah.
Probably thought that was cool and vintage in a way, but it was nothing wrong with it. I just never actually ever used it except for one thing. And I forgot what that was, but I used to always take my Combinator patch and run it through a different reverb or something like that.
Reason's still out there.
Yeah. Actually, they have a plug-in version of it for any DAW. Like if you can actually get Reason. Actually, I have it. I had just never used it. I bought some kind of VST. And it came with it, so I have to actually redeem that.
Reason is a DAW in and of itself. You can run it as a VST through Ableton.
Like the whole actual platform of Reason.
Yeah, the entire thing. Remember Rewire?
Yeah.
Remember they had Rewire? Yeah, you can use Rewire and make Reason a VST in Ableton.
Yeah, but no, recently they just released all of the
plugins,
the plugins from Reason
as
VSTs, like individual standalone VSTs with no rewire needed or anything. So you can just download it like a regular plugin and throw it in there.
Yeah.
I haven't played around with it. I really don't see the functionality for it. I mean, Reason was really dope as a go-between for me. But I think that Ableton provides all the stuff that I need.
That's weird because I think we all, especially like I think when I met you guys back in the day, like we were all on Reason at some point. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was Fruity Loops too. It was Fruity Loops, and then we jumped to Reason.
Yeah.
But I had like a free version somehow. I don't know how. It was like a cracked version.
You had a what? You can't say that kind of stuff.
Hey,
you had a sponsored version.
Paid,
sponsored version.
We paid good money for it. My school gave it to us.
What did you start out
on? My school, when I like at the college I went to, they had like all this free software for students, and one of them included Reason.
Nice.
So who knows? It was like Reason 2.0 or whatever the hell, like one of the first ones. But then after I played around with that, then I kind of jumped to Fruity Loops because everybody was using that, and then I realized like, wait, I have this other more powerful thing. So then we jumped to Reason at the time.
Yeah.
That was where it was, man. That was fun.
You know what? I used to use both. Like if I was making an R&B beat, I would always do it in Reason. If I was making a sample beat, I would do it in Fruity Loops. And I always used to have, different platforms for different things, specifically because I love the sampling functionality in Reason at that time. It was very easy for you to manipulate your sample without losing any of the quality or any of the it didn't like pixelated, I guess I'm using the wrong damn word, but just make it more grainy like other platforms do. When you would stretch it, it would just stretch with you. So Fruity Loops was really ahead of its time when it came to sampling, back then at least. And I think that some people haven't even gotten it right to where they were then, even now. So I still have Fruity Loops 20 on my computer now, but I don't use it. I just have it just in case I need to go in there and dive
do
in.
something really quick.
Yeah. But that was originally where like the quick beat started, was like you can make a beat in 15 minutes in Fruity Loops and it actually sound, like the core of a beat. So
yeah, a good sketch. I'm in between DAWs now. I'm doing I'm really trying hard to kind of like pick up everything in Logic, which has been a adventure. But Beatmaker 3 is just so intuitive. It's like crazy. So like this week, obviously we're in the middle of the Tiny Tim challenge for the week. But this week, like always, like the beginning of the week, I'm on the iPad. It is so fast. You know what I mean? Like we were to talk about possibly, I was going to show you guys some time stretching stuff today, but it's just so quick. And then to do the same type of like rough idea for like, grabbing a loop and finding the tempo and all this stuff, it's like, at least right now, it's like 4 times quicker using the iPad versus jumping on the computer and then using the DAW or using Logic so far. But I don't know Logic all the way yet. You know what I mean? I'm still learning it.
4 times quicker?
I'm telling you, man, it's just, and it's just the ability to touch things and squeeze and pinch.
Like nipples?
Just don't say that. Don't say that.
You said dimples, right? Like when you see a cute baby, you pinch the dimples, right? Not anything else that may have sounded like you said, right? Yes. Okay. I'm glad you confirmed that for me.
Squeeze the dimples.
Yeah, sure.
You guys, no one's an Apple person.
I am.
No one has an
Slightly.
iPhone.
I have an iPhone.
Okay. Then you know what I mean. You get to actually touch the waveform. You get to squeeze it, stretch it.
Apple, unfortunately.
Why do you reject Apple?
I mean, it's not that I really reject them. It's just that when you're on an Android or PC person, you can mess around with Apple. Like I hop in between it all the time. When you're an Apple person, you're Apple. You're not doing anything else but Apples.
I don't particularly agree with that.
I feel like it's just too
culty.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I think that Apple does certain things right, and Android does certain things right. Now, here's the problem that Android is going to have going forward. And I know this is the Beats talk, but we're talking about technology right now. But this is the lounge, all right? We talk about whatever we want. So Android dominated the market for customization of devices, right? You can change things around. You had widgets. You had ways that you could make shortcuts, things like that. Apple perfected shortcuts. Apple just perfected shortcuts to the point where I can set a shortcut. I did it actually recently before hearing about this, social media thing or whatever. I set a shortcut that if I open any social media app, it instantly sets a timer on my phone for 10 minutes. I don't have to do anything. It instantly does it for me. And what that allows me to do is control my time that I'm online. Because if I go online, I'm on there for business, for a client. I'm trying to get stuff done. And then once I'm done with that, I'll play around on there for what seems like 10 minutes, but in reality, it's like an hour and a half. So I have the timer set. As soon as I open it, I have to do nothing else. I open it, the timer sets in the background on my phone. Yeah. Instantly, so you can customize it to the point where if you text a certain person, it can instantly do certain things on your phone, and it's flawless, and it's not difficult to do like in the apps on Android. In addition to that, they just made the basic changes in iOS 14 that allow you to remove the apps from your home screen, just use your app library, things like that, which Android has done for a long time. But Apple always seems to do things more magnificently when they decide to do them. And the hardware has always been amazing. The battle has always been having the most amazing platform as far as customization, and then having the most incredible hardware on a completely opposite device. So Apple has always had the most incredible hardware, but Android has always had the most amazing and customizable operating system. So it was a gift and a curse for people who had to have both. But I was fortunately one of those people who typically always have both of them, or an iPad and an Android phone, or vice versa.
It's just they're too expensive. It's just too pricey. Like I bought this new MacBook, and it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
damn near bought a
stupid.
car.
It's stupid. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I actually kind of like found a pretty good deal, but still, it's just like too much money to drop on a computer.
Yeah. You know what though? You know what I realized though? When to your point,
Mm,
if you keep your stuff in good quality,
hmm
Apple products do last. Typically, aside from the iPhone update thing, Apple products do last for a long ass time. Like I know lots of people who still have that old big bulky iPod with the little circle on the joint, and it still works
damn.
perfectly fine. And I know a lot of people who have them who don't want to go to a digital screen, and they just like, listen, I got 60,000 songs on here, and it's been working for me for 12 years. So I think that Apple knows how to make stuff. I think that they overprice things because of their eliteness when it comes to, integration.
Well, it's arguably more about. I mean, you could see that, or they're even positioning themselves right now about being, pro security, like personal security, right? I just saw an Apple commercial that was like showing like everybody talking about like just like shouting out their personal information, and then Apple was like, not us. Basically, that was their angle, right? It's like with Apple, you can control who gets your information and who doesn't, which is kind of BS at the same time.
Of course,
but
they get it.
Yeah, and and there's all these studies that show like what apps are really just like still gathering your info no matter what. But like that's one thing that you're kind of like purchasing when you purchase an Apple product is like this seemingly more like secure in terms of privacy component or computer, whatever piece of technology. But
and flawlessness too. Like you don't have as many issues as Windows. Like honestly,
less virus issues.
Issues. Safari is typically secure, but even just less issues with the device itself. Like that, and then you have a designated tech team. If you go to the Apple Store, you're paying for the experience. And for a long time, I was anti-iPhone. I got the first iPhone, and I was amazed. But over time, I'm like, okay, this is a lot of money for a phone that doesn't do the things I wanted to do. Like when phones got smart, you wanted them to do more, not less. And iPhone was doing a lot less than most smartphones. So for me, I was like, you know what? I really don't think that this is for me. And then once they started increasing the amount of apps they had, that's when the functionality was kind of, you deal with it because you use an app for that.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that we don't recognize the 3 seconds of
I don't know what that was.
Of P with a tank on. Please come back with a tank on.
No, please put a shirt on.
Please have the deepest V that can you go if you're listening right now, P?
He's listening right now.
Yes.
Oh, where's the V? No, where's the V neck? We're supposed to it was supposed to be like a weekly thing to see how low the V, because one time P got on the live stream and the V was like to like mid chest, and we're like, yo, that's not even like a.
He was
Mr. T or some shit.
flirting with showing us his belly button.
Yeah, we don't need that. we don't need any of that.
By the bottom of the V. How much does Ableton cost though?
$500.
See, that's interesting. That's interesting to me. $500, and then
Sasuke.
What is like the average plugin? Is that Sasuke? Holy shit!
He's hungry right now.
What's up, Sasuke?
Say hello to the internet, Sasuke.
Look at the side eye. Like, yo, I saw that documentary. I don't want to say hi to nobody on the internet. No, but it all depends though. It depends on which
$500.
No.
No. I'm saying Ableton, $500. You said?
Oh yeah, it's 500.
And how much are the plugins like generally? If you're gonna
they range. Honestly, I bought some really good ones that were like $10-$20. I bought some all right ones that were like a couple $100. They range depending on what you're getting and depending on what they run through. There's also surprisingly an incredible amount of free VSTs that are really, really, really good. And I think that you have those people who just want to do good for the musician community that donate their time and donate their energy to creating like labs
I don't even know.
They have a
Labs is a cool VST.
they have a whole website where you can go and it's an actual orchestra that plays their sounds, and then they put their sounds into different packs on the VST, and they have like 30 different sounds that are free. You know, you can download them, and they have some you pay for, but they have a decent amount where you can actually create and make solid music without ever having to pay a dime. So I think that, you know, organizations and communities like that want to keep music pure and true and free for people, kudos to them, because, you know, that's what it's really about, like balance. You know, you could buy a VST and it sucks. I've just as many as I bought this year, I've returned in that first 30 days this year as well, though. So I've returned a lot of VSTs this year.
You should give us you should do a list of your top 3 VSTs and your lowest 3 VSTs. I would love to know the ones that you like that didn't work out.
I mean, I don't know who might end up trying to monetize our page, so I want to shoot myself in the foot. But
I think that people would appreciate the honesty, though.
Fine, you know what? I'll do it. I mean, I'm saying I really don't care.
Going right now.
I used to have a couple seconds ago. I had morality when it comes to this, and now I don't care. So sure. All right. So I'll make sure I have them set up. So I'm gonna share at P's request my top 3 VSTs, and then the VSTs that I don't really like. And this is going to be interesting for people who make music in this arena, but we'll see, you know, what you feel about this. Interestingly enough, this is gonna sound really bad, but
just killing potential sponsors every second.
Yeah, I think I am. Like, P, this is probably shouldn't be something you want.
Just go with your top 3.
I mean,
I'm just go with my top 3. So
I feel like you should at least mention one that maybe challenged you. You don't have to say that it's
there we go
VST, but just be honest about what didn't work out for you. Just because it didn't work out for you doesn't mean it's a bad VST.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and tell my top 3 and my low 3, my bottom 3.
And keep it real, son. Tell them why you mad. Tell them
I'm
why
gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. And
can you use VSTs with Logic Chord?
Yeah, you can use you could get a bunch of different plugins. Absolutely.
I know Apple's weird about that stuff.
No,
you can. I'm gonna share something that I swore not to share, but I'm gonna share it. You know what I'm saying? It's a completely free VST. It's really what you make of it. It's called Ripcord.
What?
I know.
Wait a minute.
I know. Okay, I'm not even gonna show it, but it's called Ripcord.
Wait, we're allowed to talk about Ripcord.
We're not. I'm done. You told me to use my top VSTs, so
but
I'm not gonna use it. We're done. We talked about it. We're done. That's number 1. Now number
Corey
2
has no idea what's going on right now.
We're gonna move on to number 2.
Currently searching for Ripcord on the Apple Store.
It's nowhere in the store. All right, so
Rip CHORD or CORD?
Oh, Ripcord is a secret weapon that I thought we were not allowed to talk about.
We're not.
Is this the MIDI joint? The MIDI joint?
Yes.
Aha. Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
So anyway, back to
only me, E, and Sasuke know.
What is up with this? All right, so Pigments is like my top one, but it's a damn CPU hog, man. Like it'll take all your CPU like a divorce. You know what I'm saying? So but the sounds are incredible. Like it has so many sounds. If you look here, you'll see like this is just in the basses. And there's more.
So that's the one
2K.
That's the one that we were talking about.
Yeah. Yes.
Because that's made by Arturia. So I have just 10 different sounds. That's all I could use.
So, but the sounds are dope, but they have some sounds that are just like you've never heard anything like it in your life. And then there's other sounds that are like, okay, this will work. But there's so many ways to find the sounds that you want. So this is Pigments. Pigments is dope. I love Pigments.
Is that number one for you?
That's number 2 for me.
Okay. Ripcord is number one.
We-
We named number one and then also spent 2 seconds on it. Okay. Number
Yes,
two.
yes, because
Pigments.
we're not going to talk about that anymore. And then so it's interesting. It's very interesting. Playbeat by Audio Modern. Playbeat is really dope. Playbeat, I use this for programming. Now what you can do is you can randomize your drums, or you can like put your own drum sounds in and program them just like normal in here. So I'll just make a quick little pattern. So I'll just put my clap on a 5, you know what I'm saying, on the joints real quick. And then I'm going to just make like a quick pattern. And I'm not even trying. So I'll just grab it. So that quick. And so if I was to say I want to randomize, so now I want to randomize my hi-hat. I threw a hi-hat in there and I just hit on this particular thing. I'm going to randomize everything on the hi-hat. Now density, I love density because you get to control how many steps it has, how many times it doubles up. And so this is kind of like this thing right here. So there we go.
Density. I don't know what density even means, or steps. Steps, I imagine that's the total number of divisions in the bar.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
density is how many times the sound repeats itself in that one step.
Okay.
So I'm gonna randomize with the die right here. So minimum 4, max take it to 8. The pitch, you can change the pitch, you can change the volume, the pan, and all of these things can be customly randomized. So here we go. I'm gonna hit this. Now you hear this beat, and then I'm gonna randomize the hi-hat. Let me give it more steps and more steps. The max is gonna be 32. So now randomize everything. I don't like it, but it's, you know.
So if you go to density and turn the density down with the same
Yeah, so I can put it at minimum of 1 and
Okay.
a max of like 4. I typically don't really go over 4, but I'm just showing how, you know, you can do it.
Yeah. Play that.
I never use that, but you can do that. But I
Right.
typically just program it in. But this is a great way to program your beats in because you're able to do what you want without having to, you know, use your keyboard or use your pad. You can just do it right here while your beat is playing. So whatever
Right.
you're using, you just
And you
keep
could
it
try
moving.
out like a bunch of different things. Just keep testing until you
Yeah.
get inspired.
Yeah. So
And the third one.
that was number 2. You know, let's skip number 1. I'm gonna give you a different. I'm gonna give you a different third one that I can actually show you. So yeah, Pigments number 1, Playbeat number 2, and number 3, it's Scalar 2.
Okay.
Scalar is dope. Very, very, very dope. It's by Plugin Boutique. Well, that's who I got it from. But Scalar is cool because there's two different scalars. So there's a scalar audio one, and there's a scalar MIDI. And so with a scalar MIDI, it has its own sounds included. But scalar audio, they both come with one. When you download it, they both come together. But what happens is scalar audio allows you to play music, and it detects the chords, if it can, of what you're in. So, but you can also go in and play your own chords as well. There's a lot of things about Scalar 2 that I'm not even familiar with yet, but so I just picked. So I go into Scalar. You can. Now I love this soft piano. Y'all seen me make a beat before. Y'all seen me use a soft piano.
This is like your number one.
Yeah, my number one sound. Yeah. Just because I like the sound. I typically don't even use the features of Scalar mostly, but I just love this sound. So it just sounds like it's not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also not Casio. So so you can go in here and pick like different chord types. So what Scalar does is help you create more chords or use different chords and things like that, and allows you to not really have that kind of producer's block or creator's block.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go in and you go to songs, you can go types of songs, or you can go in by artists. They have artists as well. So on the artist side, I will go to, let's just say, hold on 1 second. So here we are. So I'm going to use Curtis King. Don't know what this is, but they have different songs in there. And with the songs, they have chords that are they designed to be used in the program. So now these are the chords. Now what you can do is you can drag them down here to a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can make the pattern. That's not going to be with the beat. So, but it's cool. It's a lot of different features in there. I really don't want to get into it because I don't know how to use all the stuff in here. But I love the fact that you can find the chords you want in different ways and chords you wouldn't have thought to use. So I like that.
That's pretty
I like
cool.
that a lot. Well,
So
so
pretty cool.
I'm not going to do my bottom three though.
Okay. Hopefully we get to a point in 6-7 months where we are sponsored by one of E's bottom three.
Yeah, that'll be funny. I'll tell them who it is then. Once we secure the bag, I'll tell them who it is.
Awesome.
Yeah. What about you? What do you like to use, Corey?
I haven't really. Oh, you know what? I haven't messed with a lot of plugins yet, but you know what's crazy about Logic? I'll show two things. Let me show you Logic really quick, and then let me show you something on BeatMaker 3. So give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. You know that this is gonna possibly not work out the right way. So here we go. Share.
Of course.
Let me know. Can you see my screen? There's my screen. Let me go. I got to go into preferences. Everybody that's messing with Logic, this is what it takes to get your audio to actually be presented. Switch it to, here, let me show the world. Here you go. Output device has to be on Zoom. You hit apply, and then it does something. And then in theory, you are good to go. So let me see if this actually works here. Can you hear that? Yeah. So this is my beat. This is the Tiny Tim beat. No one's going to be able to hear this. But what is crazy about Logic is I haven't yet used any VSTs or any plugins or anything like that because they have a whole library of different sounds that you can pull from. So I just pulled up at the very bottom of the screen here, it says electric piano. Let me actually see if I could should be able to do something. I don't know how this shit works yet still. Okay, here we go, classic piano. So the left-hand side is the library. So you can actually just choose anything, like whatever you feel like you might be inspired by. I can say organs. Let's listen to some organs, right? So it has all these different organs. So Logic is like a souped up professional version of GarageBand. So it has like, it looks the same way. Like when you open it up, you're like, oh, I'm in GarageBand, but it just has so much packed into it. It's ridiculous. So let's open up an organ. Let's do Jazz Fusion organ. So now I have this loaded as a new software instrument. So that's the jazz organ, the Jazz Fusion organ. But you'll see on this one strip here, it actually shows you this is in the whole channel. This is what I have loaded in, my Jazz Fusion organ. And I can add in an EQ. So I can just like further EQ this if I wanted to. So I could just say like, okay, we are going to pull these down, right? So you could add EQ to anything easily. You can add effects to it. So if I wanted to, so right now it comes loaded with certain effects and it puts it on an auxiliary channel. So on this auxiliary channel, there's probably like reverb and a bunch of different shit. So that's kind of like the weird thing that I'm feeling through, because you get a virtual instrument, but it's loaded with reverb, it's loaded with like echo and stuff like that. So sometimes that could be inspirational for you because you might like the sound and you'll be like, okay, cool. Like I could write something to that. Or you might not want all those effects. So there's some really good examples of that too. If you go to some of these, you'll hear it's just like so much reverb. You're like, what the heck's going on? So right now I'm on Oakland, Oregon. All the sounds are pretty solid. I mean, to write to, like, that's great. Like I have like all these different organs. So I have yet.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
So when you play your keys, underneath the timestamp, it shows you the key you're pressing or the chord you're playing?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. That's pretty dope.
So if I just played a triad and it just told me that it was B diminished. Woo! Let's go up higher. Yeah, so that's pretty dope too. It's like showing you exactly the chord that you're playing. So that's just the library of different virtual instruments. But then there's also kind of like these built-in plugins. And one of the built-in plugins, so on this channel strip here, you can actually just change the instrument altogether. So I can go, so some of this stuff is kind of weird looking. It's going to look really weird. So I'm using the organ, but I could go to Alchemy. And Alchemy, think of that as a plugin, but it's actually just built into Logic. So here are a bunch of different categories of instruments, subcategories, genres, and you can kind of choose like how your feel is, right? So maybe I'm feeling like, okay, well, I want to play around with some pads, and I want it to be like a layered pad, and I want it to be ambient. Now on the right-hand side, I have all these to choose from. So here's a 70s space pad here. So this is kind of like just two ways that you can find sounds. One is the built-in library through Logic, and then the other is the built-in plugin. There's so much more. I'm only scratching the surface. When you find a sound just within Alchemy, you can also change like how it actually reacts by using some of this stuff down here. I don't even know what you call this stuff. So I'll just go to noise sweep. So that same sound.
Well, those are the Vermicious Canids.
And that just sounds like nothing, right? High harmonic. That kind of sounds the same. So you kind of have like LFOs working and all this crazy stuff that's affecting the sound after that. So thus far, I have yet to kind of really go further than just exploring the library, just because there's so much built into it. It's kind of crazy.
Right.
Yeah. So in some of the sounds, like we were talking about this on the dance hall challenge, some of the sounds kind of sound a little dated.
Yeah.
But with all the effects that you could add to it, you could really beef up some sounds, and you could really make some sounds sound like lo-fi and dusty and stuff like that. So this is part of the whole adventure, is just like learning how to use it, A, and then B, like figuring out like all the crazy stuff that's built into this. And this is just two of the things. There is a whole live, like just like how you guys use Ableton, the live part of it, like DJ Piso uses that as well. There's like a whole live section. There's also this whole drummer section. I don't even know enough about this, but I got to show you guys this while we're talking. Let's do new drummer track. So you can, okay, so you can like assign different samples to the kick drum, to the snare, and to the hi-hat. Then you can activate, okay, well, I want to use cymbals as well. And then you could go to different presets and have it like play along with your track. So it is something that sounds just like kind of really, really good to start with. And then once you like dig deeper, there's just so much more that you could do with this. You could kind of like change how, intricate the cymbal lines would be, or how intricate you want the kick and the snare to be. I'm not actually, oh, here, I could play, let me just solo this for you. So I'll just play what this is going to play right now. So you have the spectrum to say like, okay, well, this is going to be a complex. On the further right I go, it'll be a complex. The higher up I go, it'll be loud. The lower I go is soft. And then the further left I go is simple. So I'll play it and I'll move it. So I'll start that again just to hear. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do very soft and simple. So this is something that I think like if I was recording guitar to and bass to, and I didn't know what I wanted the beat to be, but I wanted to almost feel like I was playing with a drummer, I would load in drummer and then I would mess with this. So if I go to kick and snare, I could actually change like the tempo that it's playing and how complex it is. Again, I haven't messed with this enough, so this is not a tutorial at all. But I just changed that up, and let's be real heavy on the cymbals too. So here we go. Let's hear how this sounds now, and I'll mess around with the dynamics. You could add the fills to be like really, really high. So let's throw, I just want all fills basically. Here we go. So it's kind of like those pre-made, like if you had like an old school Casio or some shit and you press like the Latin beat, and you press down on that and it starts playing. It's kind of like that, but a little bit more dynamic. And, there's a little bit more like crazy algorithms behind it to react more to what you're feeling. So I haven't even scratched the surface of drummer, but you could do a lot more because you could actually load in your own samples, I believe. And you can mess with the swing. And so in terms of just like building a drum track against the song, sometimes I don't like to do the beat until the very end. So I could see using this as like a sample or as like a reference point and then building on that and then removing it completely and building a beat against what I heard in my head while the drummer was playing or something like that. So those are just some of the cool things in Logic that I'm messing with. Oh, and you get to choose which type of drummer. Let's see. How would Anders play this? Change the drummer. Let's change the drummer. Anders plays a little bit differently. Let's hear how he plays it. That's quote unquote hard rock. Let's listen to funk rock. That's not funky at all. But anyways, yeah. So those are like three things that I'm learning about Logic that are pretty cool. So far for me, it's just the sounds, finding the right sounds, the right instruments. I'm gonna delete this. Delete drummer. But yeah, Logic is pretty dope, man. It's pretty sick. There's so much in here. It's crazy.
Nice. What about you, P?
So we're just sharing things that we like.
Yes. What do you like?
Um, sorry, I wasn't.
He's making the beat for the week. He was listening to Tiny Tim right there.
That is very interesting. What you just showed us, Corey. I remember there was like a similar kind of like drum programming situation on Reason. It's funny that we were talking about Reason.
Yeah.
But
Do you remember what that was called? I don't remember what that was called. I don't know if I ever used the feature.
I don't remember the name. But yeah. So let me just open this up.
Oh wait, hurry up! How Bounce House, That Feeling, Interstellar Bop, Exit, Collins 3-1, Vibranium Meteor,
Yo, please don't look at his beat.
Whisper, Soul Love, Deep and P. Oh, what is that one? Deep and P.
That was my boy Deep. He came over and gave me some sample when I messed around.
The Dark Vortex, Crooked Neck Manual, man, Crooked Neck Man, Donkey Kong Country. Oh, come on. Oh man. I think before the night is over, we're gonna listen to Donkey Kong Country.
That was one of the nights that we were on, that we were having our fun night, and just messing around with stuff.
30-minute beat.
30, yeah, that was a 30-minute beat. One of the things that I liked to do, that I've been doing recently a lot, a couple different things I can talk about. One thing is EQing. And once again, that's a very simple thing. Is EQ, but shelving, I guess is the word. Is when you take away the low shelf of something, or take away the high shelf of something, and changes the dynamic of it substantially. So let's take this, what I'm looking at right now. So we're looking at the sample, right?
Yeah, I see the sample.
So, this sample, for instance, or is it this one? Yes, this one. All right. So this one, if I take the EQ out, this is how it sounds, right? So that's just the sample as is. I've manipulated the EQ here, so we have 4 different points that I can manipulate. And if you see here, I have the shelf where the shelf is going, it's sloping off. And then here at the fourth point, the shelf is sloping off here at the top. Mm-hmm. What does that do? And the reason I'm doing that is it I don't want to say muffle, but there's things that happen on the extreme low end and the extreme high end of a sample that if you're manipulating the sample and you're putting it in a beat, you might not necessarily want those elements in there because they might clash with your drums or your bass or other elements you might add to the sample. So when I sample something, oftentimes there's only something specific in the sample that I really want to focus on. So shelving, I'm just going to use that term, helps me to eliminate the weird aspects of the sample that I don't necessarily want. So let's listen to this with the shelf on. All right. So let's take that lower shelf off. Take the high shelf off. And you notice it just sounds different, especially if I take the high shelf.
Gotta catch him up.
Sounds different.
Gotta catch him up. Gotta
And ultimately, the point of that is just to once again minimalize the sample so I can get exactly where I want.
Mhm.
Conversely, not only can I take those low ends and the high ends off if I want to, but I can take certain elements of it and push it up. So
And boost it, right?
boost it. So here I have the 2 and 3 right here.
Hmm.
I'm boosting something very high on 2. So let's see what I did there.
catch him up.
A lot of it just has to do with feel. Like
Yeah.
this sample, and you just hear certain aspects of it. And once again, in this aspect, I can see the waveform, and I can see certain elements of the sample that are punctuating,
Hmm.
and then I can choose to turn those up or choose to turn those down.
Yeah.
And yeah, it helps pretty substantially.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot, especially with these challenges when we're working with the sample where, and I'll open my screen again. I want to show you the Logic EQ too, which I think you'll like to see.
Go ahead, show it.
Okay, this is kind of in line with what we're talking about. So hopefully this, I don't have to do anything different with my sound, even though we're really not using sound. But anyway, so, okay, so you're using like your EQ to cut the low end out, you know, and basically say like, okay, well, I don't want, you know, lows at this level to come into the track. And then you were kind of like boosting some of your mids, you know, and you were making like, okay, well, I don't want any of these highs in here. And all that stuff, like the more I'm not in any way like a mixing person at all. In fact, like it's kind of like the worst shit ever in terms of like making you go mad. But
what's with the colors? Why's your different?
I think just from like an organizational standpoint, they want you to see like a certain frequency range. Like this is the band that you are affecting right here, is this band right here. But for a lot of the samples that we use, I've been having to do the same thing. But what's crazy with just like the standard EQ that comes with Reason is you're able to go in. I'm sorry, with Logic. Did I say Reason?
Yeah.
We've been talking about Reason too much. You can go in like a needle with needle point precision. You can go in and you can say, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah.
Right. So, and it actually, that's exactly how it works. It's like, you know, I forgot what sample we were using, but there was all these frequencies that was like kind of in the high range of a certain sample. And I basically was just able to kind of like choose how fine I wanted that EQ to get in there and just go in and essentially almost like you're almost deleting a sound, which is insane, right? So if you have a sample and you only like, you know, there's like a really low dusty piano that's playing like in the mid range, like around here. And then for some reason, there's like a really annoying hi-hats and cymbals that are crashing around. You could basically go, okay, well, I don't want any of those cymbals that are crashing. I want to try to just completely cut that out. And, and for some reason, this hi-hat is just resonating here on this frequency. You can go and say, delete that in a way, right? It's not perfect, but what you're left with is a sample that is usable for our purposes, especially for these challenges where, you know, without it, if you took it all off, you're dealing with like all of the cymbals getting through, you're dealing with all of the hi-hat that you don't like to get through. And then, you know, your sample sounds like unusable, you know? But, yeah. So you can get that. You could get I'm sure in Ableton, you could get like the same, this is just the channel EQ, but you could get like whatever the real title is, like parametric EQ or whatever, like just you know, or I don't even know the title for like this type of EQing, but you could just totally get in and fine tune it. Really,
Yeah.
he's not a fan though.
Nah, you know what? I like EQM, but I'm gonna show you my favorite effect. It's a VST, but it's an effect, so I don't consider it when I say my favorites. But I use it a lot. You guys should know what it is by now. But I'm just gonna make a whole little thing with the whole little thing real quick, so I can show you what I'm talking about. So it is called. It is by Isotope, and it is Nectar 3. It's a two-way tie between Nectar 3 and Vocal Synth 2. So let me show you why. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab some vocals. I have a folder and throw them in here.
By the way, do you guys have any beats to play tonight?
Nope.
You don't have anything that,
No.
outside of the
I have
songs
a
to play?
time stretching thing if we want to do that. It's a beat. It's a sample that I'm not using for the Tiny Tim challenge, but it would be fun.
All right, so I have a sound loaded in here. So I'm just gonna play the sound. So that's the sound as is. So I'm gonna grab Nectar 3. I'm gonna throw it on the track. Actually, I'm gonna grab a different sound because I don't want to bite it. It's really good with the vocals though.
Nectar 3. I think you brought this up before. You showed this before.
Yeah, it's in most of my beats. Like I use this one way or another. Okay. Here we go. So I got something I can throw in here. So here we go.
Can I play for you, baby?
Yeah, that's Drew Hill. So whatever. But I'm gonna grab a loop part of this string.
I'm glad you gave us some reference for that.
So let's play this part.
Can I play for you?
Yeah, jerk. So here we go.
Can I play for you, baby?
Oh my goodness, no.
Okay.
All right, it's not working how I want it to work at all. So I'm just gonna.
Can I play with you, baby?
Yo, all right. You know what? Here we go. Let's do this right here.
Baby, I'm sorry. Sorry for what I've done. Forgive me. Baby, forgive me. And let me be your only one, 'cause you are.
Okay, so that's as is. Now with Nectar 3, I'll go in here and I can do pitch correction, and I can do pitch correction strength. I can put it all the way up and then kind of like delay the speed so it doesn't grab it right away. So if you look here while they're singing, you'll see like.
Baby, I'm sorry. Oh yeah. Sorry for what I've done. Will you forgive me? Baby, forgive me.
So you'll see how it's moving a little bit, but it's not moving as fast. His wheel is not moving super fast. When I put the speed all the way up, it catches it as it plays. It doesn't give it any room for error.
Baby, I'm sorry. Oh yeah. Sorry for what I've done.
So you see how that wheel was like, it was like, now it's super tight. But I can also change the tone that they're singing in. So now if I play this right here,
Baby, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Sorry for what I've done. Will you forgive me? Oh, yeah. And let me be your only one, 'cause you are everything.
so that's that. But the fun part about this is when you get to add all of these little thingamajiggers in here. My favorite one is harmony because I get to add harmony. So I get to just click, add a bunch of these joints, and I can change whether it's on the unison or I'll pitch it up. So, and then I have the option to only use the voices that I added instead of the main vocals. So right here, you'll hear.
Baby, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Sorry for what I've done. Will you forgive me? Forgive me. Oh, yeah. And let me be your only one, 'cause you are everything. And I would give you anything. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's that. That's Nectar 3. Now, really quickly, and then I think I'm done.
Nectar 3 is the birth of Notorious VST.
Yes, that was the no. Vocal Synth 2 was the birth of that. So let me give you this now. So I'm gonna play. Let me get this back. Hold up. Let me get the same audio back. Vocal Synth 2, I'm throwing this on here, and boom. So I'll grab this audio, put it in here. Vocal Synth 2 is a synthesizer. It synthesizes your vocals. Has all of these components down here you can click on and work with down here at the bottom. But the cool thing about this is I like using MIDI mode. And MIDI mode allows you to put chords, like make the song play what you're playing. So no matter what vocals you put in there, you can make them do what you're doing or what you want them to do. The only thing I don't like about it is that you can't use pure audio. It still has the synth effect. So it's not just like you can do it with regular vocals and just catch them. But I'm sure there's a way. I just haven't figured it out. So I'm going to make this MIDI mode. I have to create a MIDI track. I already have one, so I'll grab it, bring it down here. MIDI track, boom. Now on the MIDI track, I will grab a chord progression because I don't have any, I'm not gonna play anything right now. So I'll grab a unison MIDI chord progression, paying on money. So I'll grab a chord progression, boom. I'll grab this one, I'll put it here. No, I'll put it there where it's supposed to be. And then, so now what I have to do is run, let me go back here. I haven't used it in a little bit. Let me go back in. So the instructions are right here. So you create an audio track, insert vocal synth. Then you create a MIDI track and change the monitoring to in. On the MIDI track, you change the MIDI to drop down. All right, so. Yeah, we can't edit this out though. So So you hear the chords, but it's not letting me really just like do it bare. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can hear it in the background.
So what I like about it is if I have a pure audio. All right, so that's what I got. And that is vocal synth 2. But I'll do another one later when I show that one working. But it's I like it. I use it for the Tank on E challenge. When I have my vocals on there. So yeah, but I mean, I use a lot of different sounds. I mean, it's for me, it's so many different things, and especially with being back into it new, I'm like a new VST every other week or something like that. So
It sounds like you got your mic activated or something. There's like a hard echo going on.
Oh yeah, because I'm talking to this audio track.
There you go. There you go. Cool. So I don't know. There's no beats. I have something to show around time stretching, but we could just call it. I know that we're just going to chill for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think we, hung out, we chilled, we came, we saw, we conquered, and we did the first lounge, like the first actual 3 Beats Later lounge. Like, yo, we did this. So I think we should do this more often. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I mean, that way we can talk about,
New
anything
shit.
we want, new stuff,
Yeah.
artists we like, artists we want to work with, play a track we're working on, projects we're working on, stuff like that.
Yeah, we should definitely do it like midweek too, like do like a Thursday night or a Friday night type of thing.
I'm down with that.
Because we have the show normally on a Monday night, but midweek I know that we've been talking about doing something else to have like more consistent stuff out there. So
Yeah.
this could be cool.
Pete, take us home, man.
Yo, thank you so much. It's kind of my fault that we didn't get to share beats tonight, but thank you for my partners for holding it down. And,
Yeah.
We will be back tomorrow with our challenge, which is the Tiny Tim challenge.
Look at how excited and happy he got just by saying the name Tiny Tim.
Shout out all my ukulele players.
Shout out to uke players. Ukes.
Yes. My name is Piso Urson. We have Cheeky CP and we have Education. And we're 3 producers in this 3 Beats Later, and we thank y'all for holding it down with us.
Yeah, hanging out in the 3 Beats Later lounge next time. We'll see you tomorrow, though. We will be streaming the Tiny Tim challenge tomorrow, so come through, stay tuned, and be on board with it. Corey, how many followers are we at on Twitter?
Twitter. We have. Anyone want to take a guess? Alex, don't look.
827.
690.
I was super close, like really, really close.
So we gotta hit that 1,000.
Once we hit that 1,000, I'm giving away a free loot pack. Well, we are giving away a free loot pack. Everybody's going to contribute. So you get something different from each of us. And yeah, it's going to be completely free. And look forward to getting up to that 1,000. But thank you all for hanging out with us. We are done for the night. 3 Beats
All
later.
right. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.